Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a PI, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, who are you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Get the gab, I talk that gab. Strut like up, man, I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Told them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Said on the man, post out, no miss. Over your head, next time, don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
We didn't lose to the bye week, so it was a pretty good week to be a Tennessee Volunteer, all things said and done. Oi, fellow comrades, it is Squidtard here along with my boys, Mr. Lucas Sharp, Wolverine also, and Julio Rodriguez, and welcome to the next episode, the episode 63 of the Vol Star Podcast. We come a long way from episode 1, and the team has come a long way since then as well. 6-1, everything in front of us, and it is Kentucky Hate Week. So I have a special sound effect specifically for them that I'm going to play for you guys right now. Listen to this.
Pick up your shovel and get back to the coal mines, baby. Go Big Orange.
Yeah, that's right. Get back to the coal mines. I see.
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, you can't hear it through StreamYard, so unfortunately you guys can't hear it. You just have to come back and listen to it on the actual StreamYard, or the actual stream. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, because he's playing it on his Stream Deck.
Correct. So yeah, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
It's been a long day,
Yeah.
but I've been working through it. Almost finished with the voicing of College Football Chaos. That should be out on regularly scheduled time Wednesday afternoon. And for my special Patreon supporters, it will be ready Tuesday night. So if you're on that list right down here, congratulations, you'll get to see that early. It also means that you are a very special person. So shout out to all the Patreon members. If your name is right there, that means you're an official Patreon member. So shout out to you. All right, anyway, guys, so not much to talk about in terms of last week's football schedule. I mean, we had some good games, a lot of pretty fun games to watch, but there weren't many significant outcomes. Most of them were, per the norm. Now, there is sorry to cut you off, Lucas, but there is
I was just going to say... I was just going to say there was... oh, man. I was just going to say there wasn't really any big upsets.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, there was a... This is kind of big for our bet, but, of course, all of our teams lost yesterday, or on Saturday. UTEP lost, Central Michigan lost, Rice lost, so Lucas is still ahead by 1. But there is a big update for Rice, specifically. They went ahead and fired their head coach, so, yeah.
Wait, I thought this is first year.
Apparently he's not good enough regardless, because they just went ahead and canned him, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Rice is on a downward spiral.
Yeah, whatever went down there with Rice, they obviously didn't like it, so.
I should have went with my original pick of the Service Academy.
Yeah, you had done that. With this bet would have been over a long time ago. You would have had the $60 weeks ago.
Yeah. But yeah, next season we gotta pick different teams.
Oh, of course. That's kind of a consensus rule. We can't pick the same team. That'd be stupid. But yeah, UTEP sucks. Central Michigan sucks, and Rice sucks as well. So yeah, we all suck. All right. But yeah, not many other interesting outcomes. Obviously, there's some pretty bad games. There's some pretty good ones too. Boise State UNLV was a fight to the finish. That was enjoyable. Penn State was boring, honestly. Wisconsin couldn't score. Oregon, Illinois was boring because Illinois couldn't score. Nebraska, Ohio State. I thought Ohio State very well could have been upset, but then they climbed all the way back and beat Nebraska. Same thing goes for Vandy and Texas. Same exact result. Vandy takes a lead. Texas gets it back, wins the game in a close one. So yeah, no upsets.
Is Indiana the best team in the Big Ten?
People are talking.
Is plausible. We don't know that for sure, but we will know soon. That is a fact.
Hey, they played Nebraska better than Ohio State.
Right.
Yeah, they beat them by 49. Ohio State beat them by 4.
Well, this does make things really interesting because, of course, Ohio State and Penn State play next week. We'll talk about that one. But whichever team wins that game is still in the Big Ten conversation. The one that loses is likely eliminated from the Big Ten, Big Ten talk. So it'd be really, really important. Obviously, that game is huge. Ohio State also plays Indiana. So by some miraculous, successful outcome, Indiana winds up winning that game. Holy crap! We are.
There's actually a slight possibility we could have 3 12-0 Big Ten teams.
Right, I agree. It's gonna be something for sure. What's going on? Young Man Connery says, "Do you think Tim Banks is gonna take a head coaching job after this year?" I'd be quite surprised if he didn't.
Yeah, I think he will, unless Tennessee comes out and writes him a massive check.
Right.
I mean, I feel like the only way he stays is that if he doesn't like any of the Group of 5 jobs, and those are the only jobs he gets offered.
Right. We'll see. Some other outcomes around the country. Miami beat up on, lowly piece of doo-doo Florida State. Florida State now eliminated from bowl contention at 1-7, so
Womp womp womp.
Not technically.
Oh
there
my
might
gosh.
be.
They're 1-7. They're not making a bowl.
There's
mean,
nothing
yeah,
academically that's gonna push Florida State in. Stop.
Well, no. I'm saying they're not technically eliminated because you can get in a bowl game at 5-7 if there's not enough 6-6 teams. They got to win out, which I don't think that's really possible.
Yeah,
but...
that's been out. Yeah, well, that's been outlawed by Well, it's that, and that's also been outlawed by the fact all the New Year's Six bowls are now playoff games. So means more opportunities. For
I
teams.
don't see it. I was just saying they still have a slight chance if they could win out, but I don't see it.
Whatever. All right. Anyway. Texas A&M, of course, beat LSU, and that one was a pretty interesting one to watch. It was more or less frustrating from my point of view because I saw LSU, they had a big lead, and then Brian Kelly kicked in and they lost it. So yeah, good old Burger King came in clutch for LSU.
Yeah, A&M in first place in the SEC, man.
Yeah, that I would have never expected that.
That's crazy.
Looking at the rest of their schedule, the only really hard game they have left is Texas.
Yeah,
and that's at the end of the year.
They also, they still got to play South Carolina, and I know you want to laugh at that, but South Carolina, over the past few seasons, they've been known for ruining team seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it, but
yeah, no, that's not going to be a gimme for A&M. They're going to have to try in that one because South Carolina, they're better than their record foretells, if that's a word, foretell.
Well, the thing is, South Carolina, they just don't have enough experience on offense. They don't really have much experience to begin with anyway, but they have a really good defense. The only place they really have any experience is the defensive line, where they're really deep at.
Right.
And they also have a lot of good young talent there too. But that's about the only place where they're truly elite is the defensive line. Other than that, they got Nick Imawari, I think, in the secondary. They apparently have some good linebackers too. So their defense is good, but their offense is kind of just,
Mm-hmm. We'll get all the time in the world to talk about it once we go and preview Week 10. Some other matchups, of course, BYU, Indiana, they both stay undefeated. Navy, unfortunately, one of the service academies went down to Notre Dame. Still confused how they lost to Northern Illinois at this point in time. And guess who doesn't stand on business? Eli Drinkwitz. He went out and got blown out by Alabama 34-0. Jalen Miller had a field day, and it was quite enjoyable for me to watch. Even though Brady Cook was hurt, it was just it's not even being able to score a single point.
I'm surprised Missouri is still ranked. Like, how are they still ranked after that?
So here whenever I was watching that Mizzou game, you know what that game reminded me of? It reminded me of when we played Mizzou last year, when we could barely move the damn ball. Like, that's how Missouri was playing.
Back when we stay on business over here. That's what it.
Tried to tell Missouri fans that. Yeah, I tried to tell Missouri fans they were going to be a one-year wonder, but yeah, they didn't want to listen.
Hey, they're going to more than likely go 10-2 because they got a Mickey Mouse schedule. So
yeah, they're not making the playoffs though. With that cupcake schedule, 10-2, that's not going to get them in.
I don't know. They got. I mean, South Carolina and Arkansas. That they could lose one of those. Very well.
Did y'all, before we move on, did y'all see that Stewart Mandel tweet where he was simping for Notre Dame to get in over us? Because he's like, well, Tennessee's more likely going to lose to Georgia. And, Notre Dame will be 11-1 with only one loss early in the season.
Yeah, it's a group of 5 teams who lost to Ball State.
So we should put Notre Dame in over Tennessee.
Bruh, Central Michigan.
Starting, yeah.
I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Yep. Get ready for it, because that's going to be the talk of the season. If we keep winning like we are, it's going to be more, well, this team should go in over Tennessee. Notre Dame a playoff team, sure. And then we watch if they get in over Tennessee for them to get their backs blown out the first game they play. So, yeah, I can't wait for that. Hudson Dean says, since we beat Florida and Bama, was the Arkansas loss worth it? No loss is worth it. Or would you have beaten Arkansas and lose to either Florida or Bama? Well, when you put it that way, yeah, I'd much rather lose to them than one of our rivals. I mean, the Bama loss would have been better off because Arkansas, Bama's got a better record than Arkansas, but... that would have been a quality loss. Do you think Mike Gundy gets fired after this year? Oklahoma State has lost 5 straight. They could. It's getting bad over there with Oklahoma State because they just lost to Mike Gundy, or not? Mike Gundy's their coach. I meant to say they lost to Dave Aranda, who's another coach like Mike Gundy, who's sort of the seat's getting much hotter for Dave Aranda. Now, they have sort of salvaged their season. Baylor, of course, blew out Texas Tech the week before, but Oklahoma State, now this is their 5th straight loss in a row. They're 0-5 in the Big 12.
I saw someone call Dave Aranda Big 12 Gus Malzahn.
Well, that doesn't make sense because Gus Malzahn's in the Big 12 already. So what is he, Gus Malzahn 2?
I think... I don't think you really thought that through, but I saw someone compare him to him. Because you know how Gus Malzahn would be like, oh, if we're going to fire Gus if he doesn't do good this year, and then Gus Malzahn will go out and actually have a good season. Well, okay, Gus is good. And then it's like, okay, well, you're off the hot seat, Gus. He'll go out and have a 3-9 season.
Buckeye in KS, I think that speaks for Kansas, says, are you winning in Athens? I'm not confident. Not at all. Unless something drastically changes within the next few weeks, I'm not confident. But I'm glad you said something about that because I did want to update you guys on something. I am in talks with my good buddy Squidtard's evil twin who lives over in the Athens, Georgia area. And apparently he has a student ticket left over. So there is a significant possibility your boy is going to be fed to the wolves and he's going to be going to Athens, Georgia to watch the Tennessee-Georgia game. So if that holds up, all I can say is wish me luck.
I don't care. We're beating Georgia.
Yeah. Tennessee's a playoff team, sure. But yeah, back on the Oklahoma State conversation, I'm going to say this. Their run defense, they let Baylor run for over 300 yards on them. You know who they got to face this week? The almighty Cam Skibbity. So...
Oh God, that's gonna be a massacre.
Yeah, not looking good. Not looking good at all for Oklahoma State. That's all I can say.
Gundy's got to be fired after this year.
Yeah. But I'll tell you who's got it just as bad as they do. Utah. Holy hell, Utah is down on a downward spiral of the ages. They just lost to the worst team in the Big 12. And on top of that, they have I think they have the worst record now in the Big 12. They lost 4 straight. They beat Oklahoma State, and then after that they lost to Arizona, Arizona State, TCU, and Houston. All of them have been close games, but they couldn't score more than 19 points in any of those games. They have no offense to speak of.
So what you're saying is Utah is just Big 12 Kentucky at the moment, because Kentucky can't score over 20 points either.
Oh yeah, no. Well, yeah, I'm glad you talked about Kentucky. Holy hell, they're terrible too. You know what these dummies went out and did? Kentucky, they went out and let Auburn come straight into their stadium and beat them at home. Auburn was winless in the conference. They were winless in the SEC before they went down to Kroger Field and put the whooping on Kentucky. Peyton Thorne was nearly perfect. I mean, you guys are terrible. Terrible.
Did you see that in his last 13 SEC home games, Mark Stoops? I don't know why I said Mike Stoops. Mark Stoops is 2-11.
I've seen Kentucky fans. They want Stoops fired.
Who can blame
But
them?
guys, you were talking about a statue of him a couple years ago.
Let me read you some of these stats. This is Kentucky's passing game. Brock Vandegrift, 9 of 17, 120 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And then they put Gavin Wimsatt in, 3 of 10, 34 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. They had a total of 70 yards running the ball. And, yeah, I think all those stats speak for itself. They are just absolutely horrendous offensively.
I saw someone said that Tennessee should be scared of Gavin Wimsatt or whatever. I'm like, he cannot throw the ball. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. These Kentucky fans on the internet now they're down completely horrendous. Because they've already moved on to basketball. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're sitting there, they're clowning Tennessee. By the way, of course, Tennessee played basketball this week, for those of you who don't know. But they're clowning Tennessee for losing a basketball scrimmage game that doesn't even count towards our record. Apparently, now they think Kentucky's winning the national championship in basketball because Tennessee lost an exhibition game. You guys are really smart. Really smart.
And also Kentucky played like a high school team in their exhibition game. And, of course, shocker, they won by like 1 million points. And ever since then, they've talked about how they're going to win the Natty.
Yep, Kentucky's going to win the national championship in basketball this year because Tennessee lost an exhibition to a scrimmage. Yeah, they lost a scrimmage game. So, yep, therefore, Kentucky all the way.
Yeah, Tennessee actually had to play a real team in their exhibition game, while Kentucky had to play the Delaware School of the Blind.
Well, this is why they're talking about basketball this soon. They lost to the Delaware School of the Blind this week in football. The projection is unreal. I mean, it's unreal. We own these clowns in every single sport imaginable on planet freaking Earth. I mean, we own them in football, own them in basketball, own them in baseball. There is not a thing that Tennessee has right now that they do not own Kentucky in. I saw, let me tell you something. Last year, before the Tennessee-Kentucky football game, I saw that Tennessee and Kentucky were playing in the, get this, Rocket League National Championship. Tennessee and Kentucky were playing in a Rocket League, the video game. Both teams are playing each other. And guess what? Tennessee put the whooping on them there, too.
The esports championship between the esports teams.
Yeah. You bums can't beat us in anything. There's not a thing you can beat us in.
And it's kind of like with baseball, bro. I remember in baseball, Kentucky, of course, had that won the first game, and they was bragging about how they was finally better than us in something. And then Tennessee came out and put the absolute whooping on them in the next 2 games.
It's hilarious watching them complete. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. They're going to find out soon, though. They're going to find out. Watching all these Kentucky sports radio people cope. I mean, they got the copium to the maximum. They can't figure out what to do with themselves. They want to fire everybody, but don't know who to fire first. They're terrible in football now. Absolutely terrible. They might be the worst team in the SEC right now. Let that one sink in.
I don't know. Mississippi State's pretty bad.
Mississippi State's terrible too, but Kentucky, at least Mississippi State can score. Kentucky can't. They can't score worth a flip. What? Are they even going to score a single point against Tennessee this week?
We might shut them out.
I think they might score like a field goal. Maybe they'll get maybe they'll force a turnover or something early and get like a field goal.
Yeah, because
what you think Brock Vandegrift's going to learn how to pass?
No,
so.
I think
the only way Kentucky can win this game is if their defense plays a lights out game, and they get like the ball, like kind of what Florida did a couple years ago when JG was the quarterback, where he turned it over 3 times practically within our own fucking 30-yard line.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that
that's
our
the
offense...
only way I see Kentucky winning.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that our offense is starting to figure it out. So, yeah, Kentucky doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, but the other thing is that was also pretty early in the season. So, I don't really see that happening, though.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I see victory for them is if they do that, which I don't really think is, very possible.
Yeah, I play Rocket League, young man Connor. So there are people who play Rocket League, but no. It's a good thing I don't play esports, because if I did, imagine that Squidtard would be well, I'm already undefeated against Kentucky, but Squidtard will be undefeated against Kentucky more. I'd be undefeated against Kentucky. Yeah, it's going to be something. Before we move on to this week's college football games, for Gits and Shiggles, I did want to mention this. So I am in it's called like a traveling class. It's one of my asynchronous online classes over at UT. And we're split up into these separate groups for a couple of our assignments coming up. And funny enough, in my group of 4, I've got a current basketball and baseball player for the Tennessee teams in my group. Who would have thought that, huh? So I thought that was neat. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I was just getting me a drink.
If you guys know who Braden Sharp is, he's on the baseball team, number 46. Shout out to him. Hope he goes and balls
That's
out.
cool.
And then same goes for Felix Okapara over on the basketball team.
Oh, you have him in your group?
I sure do.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, hopefully both of those dudes ball out. And best case scenario, we get them on the show. Imagine that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, tell Felix to come on the show. That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. All right, yeah. So we'll go ahead and roll into the week. What is it, week 10? We're already on week 10. That's ridiculous. Kentucky isn't even the best basketball school in the state. That's facts. But doesn't Louisville suck?
Yeah, Louisville is terrible right now. Who would be the best basketball team in the state?
Eastern
then?
Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky or Western Kentucky or
Northern
Kentucky Norse.
Yes, that's exactly right. Lucas is right. It's Northern Kentucky.
The Norse, baby.
I was going to say I thought it would be Bellarmine because they got screwed out the NCAA tournament last year.
Could be. Heck, they probably beat Kentucky. This whole down bad thing that Kentucky's going through right now, I can't wait for them to go through it again in March when they lose in the second round like they always do. All right, anyway, enough of that. That's trash talk for a whole nother day. Today we're talking about football, and we've got a lot to go through, so let's go ahead and roll into Week 10. Does Vandy stand a chance this year against us? Absolutely. I feel much more confident about it if it were at home, but it's not. It's on the road, so there's no telling what could happen there.
Oh, yeah, that's my fault. Yeah, that's my phone.
All
All right, all right. You don't have to make the sound
It was
anymore.
hilarious watching the construction workers get to watch the Texas Vandy game for free.
Yeah, no wonder it's taking them a long time.
That's funny. That is funny. All right. Let's see. Boop. All right. We're in business. So, let's go ahead and start, shall we? I'm obviously going to skip all these games. Congratulations to Kennesaw State, by the way. They won their first game against Liberty. That was a pretty fun game to witness. Nobody expected that outcome.
Yeah, one of the biggest upsets of the year.
In fact, that is actually the biggest upset of the season. Kennesaw State was a bigger underdog to Liberty than Vandy was against Alabama. Let that one sink in. That technically is the biggest upset of the year. What's going on, Andrew, the textbook? All right, moving along. All right, let's go ahead and start with the banger, the big-time matchup here. Ohio State and Penn State. This is, of course, a huge matchup here, and it's at Penn State, so take from that what you will. It's at noon, so I don't even know if they're doing the whiteout thing or anything like that. Ohio State's favored by 3.5. So, wait, what were you gonna say, Lucas?
I was just gonna say they don't usually do They only do. I'm pretty sure don't they only do the whiteout during nighttime?
Night games, yeah. So that's why I said I don't know if they're doing that. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really follow their tradition all the way. Anyway, though, this is a really hard one to pick, obviously, because Penn State is undefeated. They're the higher ranked team, but Ohio State has pretty much owned them. Pretty much owned James Franklin. Like, he cannot beat Ohio State, no matter how talented his team is, and even if it is at home. Just the way Ohio State is playing, and they've already got a chip on their shoulder, it's hard for me to say that in this matchup that they wouldn't be hyped up enough to go on the road and beat Penn State. So I'm going to say it's a really close game, but I think Ohio State gets James Franklin again. Give me the Buckeyes over Penn State. What do y'all got?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Ohio State as well. Penn State hasn't beaten Ohio State since, 2015 or something like
16,
that?
16, yeah.
16, yeah. But Ohio State's just completely owned James Franklin, and plus Ohio State they just have too much talent on that team, and I think the Buckeyes, like you said, will be playing with a chip on their shoulder this week, especially after that struggle win over Nebraska.
Right. Julio, what's your take?
God, I'm so conflicted on this game because on one hand, I kind of want to be logical, then on the other hand, I always kind of want to pick the home team.
Yeah, you love picking home teams.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to roll with the Buckeyes. I thought I was debating it for a little bit, but
all right, well, I'll roll with Ohio State. I would love to see them lose, but I just really don't think that's happening. Real quick.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that caused pause for me for that game is that Will Howard, if you get him rattled, he is absolute ass. If you get him any sense of like pressure, he crumbles under it.
Right. Okie dokie then. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next game on the list. Duke and Miami. Let's talk about that one real quick. So the Canes currently, of course, are still undefeated. They're 20-point favorites in this matchup against Duke. Of course, the Blue Devils coming off their second loss of the season in a close one against SMU last week. To me, from the looks of it, I think this is Miami's toughest game of the season remaining. And so I'm convinced that the Canes are going to show up for this one. And I think Cam Ward carries them to another W and they continue onward. So give me Miami to beat Duke. What do y'all got?
Yeah, I'm taking Miami too.
Yeah, I'm going to take Miami as well. But I'm going to say Duke covers, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be pretty close. I think Miami eventually will, pull away at the end, but I just don't think Duke's talented enough. I think Cam Ward's still, a great player. So
also
I feel like the Manny Diaz will have a defense that'll be able to contain him for at least, the half or so.
Right. I was gonna say, keep in mind this is his Manny Diaz going up against his former team. Former program. That's gonna be fun to see. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for that matchup. So we all agree on Miami. All right. Next up, Ole Miss versus Arkansas. Ole Miss a touchdown favorite in this game on the road in Fayetteville. This is a really tough one for me to pick. Obviously, I think Ole Miss has disappointed a whole lot of people with their performance the past few weeks. Now they are still ranked. And Arkansas, of course, coming off the loss to LSU, they've got a lot to prove going into this game. This is going to be a tough one for me to pick, but, I really like Arkansas this season. They're a good team. They've got a really, really good squad, and I think they've got a quarterback that can go blow for blow with Jackson Dart. I think Ole Miss is the more talented team, but with the home crowd, with their advantage, I'm taking Arkansas in a really close one. Give me the Razorbacks. All right, now to y'all. Who you got?
I think I'm going to take Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm taking Arkansas too.
All right.
Of course, you always pick the home team, Julio.
I didn't pick Ohio State. I haven't been picking the home teams as much.
Huh. Okay, anyway. All right, next up. The Minnesota versus Illinois. I mean, really.
Minnesota's favorite?
Oh, wow,
why is Minnesota favored?
Oh, that is a good point. Why are they favored? I don't know about that
I-
one. Going on the road to play a ranked Illinois team with a really good defense. I think Minnesota had a good win last week against Maryland, but I don't think that's going to show much about them in this matchup. I think Illinois is going to win this game. I don't know where they're getting that from.
I'm going to take Illinois. Minnesota's been on a roll as of late, but I think Illinois is still the better team even after getting blown out by Oregon.
Yeah, same thing. I'll take Illinois in that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not going to cover that one, but that is a tank bowl, by the way. So yeah, you'll hear about that one later on. All right. How about this one? Vandy and Auburn. So Vanderbilt going on the road to play in Jordan-Hare against the Auburn Tigers. Really tough one to call here. Auburn, a 6.5-point favorite to the chagrin of the Vandy fans. They think they should be favored, and rightfully so. They've looked like the much better team. Auburn did have a good win against Kentucky on the road, but I think that home win, or I think that road win, I think they're going to come back home. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. This is going to be a tough, close game, I think. But Vandy with Diego Pavia, I think he gets a win on the road at Auburn again, just like he did at New Mexico State. Give me the Commodores over the barn, and for Vandy to go bowl eligibility.
Yep, that's how I feel about it too. On top of that, fun fact, if Vandy wins, this will tie the series up again. Because Auburn broke the tie last year.
Well, let's hope it happens, just for the lulz.
Yeah, I'm taking Vanderbilt.
All right, then. Good to hear. Moving on to the next game. All right, how about this one right here? Oh, this is going to be a good... Hold up. I thought I had a sneeze coming. I guess I didn't. All right, Oregon at Michigan. So Michigan coming off a big win against Michigan State over the week at home in the Big House. Now they are hosting the number one team in the nation, the Oregon Ducks, who are more than double touchdown favorites in this game. This is a tough one for me to call. I think the crowd is going to definitely help Michigan. I think they're going to get in the face of Oregon. I think the defense is going to cause Dylan Gabriel to probably throw for a turnover or two. But I think in the end, this Oregon team is just really, really talented across the board. And without a quarterback, I think Michigan's improving in the quarterback department, but I just do not think it'll be enough of an effort to shift the momentum in this game for enough to win it. I'm taking the Ducks, and I think they win by about 14-17.
That's how I see it too. So, what I was going to say too.
Yeah, I'm taking Oregon. Right now, they look like the best team in college football, and I'm being completely honest.
They do. They look like the most complete team. They've looked better every single week. All right, next up, Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Cocktail Party matchup, Georgia, Florida. Georgia, a 17-point favorite against the Gators. Unfortunately for Julio, he has no home field advantage to choose from in this game, but I don't think it matters because Georgia is far more talented than Florida. They've got a far more complete team. And now Florida's getting to their stretch of games where it kind of makes you think, can they even win one of the games? So I think they'll beat Florida State, but that's beside the point. In this matchup, Georgia, I think they hold on pretty well. I think they knock off Florida.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia.
All right. Next up on the list, Texas Tech and Iowa State. The Red Raiders, I think, they're coming off 2 straight. They of course got blown out by Baylor, and then they had another loss. I forget against who, but it was another Big 12 team. But yeah, now they're matched up against the undefeated Cyclones of Iowa State, who are a 14.5-point favorite. This could be a close one. This could be. Texas Tech has the offense, I think, to go blow for blow with Iowa State. It's just a matter of whether or not they show up. This is going to be a close game. I do think Texas Tech covers, but I'm taking Iowa State to win.
Yep, I'm taking Iowa State. Rocco Beck, a.k.a. Brock Purdy 2.0.
Yeah, I'm taking Iowa State too.
All right. Yeah, everything I've done to you. Yeah, what he said. All right, next up, Indiana and Michigan State. So Indiana looks like a real complete team right now. They haven't really had a week where they struggled. They've looked really, really, really good all year long. They're 8-0. Kurt Kignetti has done a phenomenal job with this team. And they're going on the road to play Michigan State, who, of course, came off the loss to Michigan. Tough game to call here. But I do think Indiana in a close game. I do think Michigan State's going to make it tough, with it being on the road for Indiana. But I don't think the efforts will be enough. I think Curtis Rourke takes care of business and knocks off Michigan State.
Yeah, fun fact, I'm pretty sure Indiana is the only team in college football this year to win all of their games by double digits.
They're also the only team to never trail.
Yeah. I know Indiana, all those games are against, not very good teams, but still, they've still been looking pretty good. I'm taking Indiana, and I say they cover as well.
All right.
Yeah, even though I don't even think Curtis Rourke would be able to start if I remember correctly, because I think he's out to the Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
I still think they win, and I think they at least win by 10 points to keep the streak alive.
All right.
I think,
there you have it.
which I hope they do, because that'll look good on us, because their backup who's playing now is Taven Jackson. So
that is true. It really won't do anything for us, but we can be like, hey, it's that one guy. It's that one guy who was committed to us and then left because he was the third stringer and hit the transfer portal. Yeah, we can be like that. All right, anyway, moving on to the next game. I don't feel like talking about most of these because really, who cares?
Navy and Rice.
They're just... I mean, obviously, there's quite a bit of room for some really fun matchups, some really...
What about
Mississippi State on upset alert against UMass?
Oh my gosh, that is oh my gosh! If they lose that game, then I'll be forced to talk about it. But anyway, on to the next game. We're gonna go to the 7:30 slate. Might as well talk about Texas A&M, who is 5-0 in the SEC, going up against South Carolina on the road in Williams-Brice at night. Is there any possibility the Gamecocks pull this one out? I really don't know. I think Texas A&M is going to have their work cut out for them in this game. The spread thinks so too, as they're only a 2.5-point favorite. I like Lenore Sellers. I think he can be a quarterback that's going to be good potentially in the future. Right now he's going through his growing pains, but this is going to be a tough game for A&M, I think. But I do think with the help, I don't know who they're going to start at quarterback. Could be Connor Wayman, but it also could be the other guy. Marcel Reed. It could be either one of them. I don't think it'll matter in the end. You'll just have to switch play styles. I'm taking Texas A&M to win the game. That's all that matters to me.
I don't know. This one is so weird. South Carolina, like I said, is, as of late with Shane Beamer's been known for ruining team seasons.
There's a comment I could take here about signs, but I'll plead the fifth on that one for the sake of being professional about this one.
Yeah. You know what? Why not? Give me South Carolina.
Julio?
I'm gonna take A&M.
All right. Well, there you have it. All right, on to the next game. Louisville and Clemson. Clemson 6-1, right outside of the top 10, hosting Louisville. A lot of people thought this could potentially be a problem for Clemson because Tyler Shuck, he's had a lot of pretty good games as of recently, and Cade Klubnik hasn't really been tested with a good defense since the Georgia game. So will we see that in this game? There's no telling, but I'm going to take the safe bet here and say that Clemson holds on in the end to survive and win another day.
Yeah, I'm taking Clemson.
Let's see. The line there is Clemson 10.5. I think Clemson covers.
All right. Well, there you have it. All right, on to the next game. I'm going to skip most of these. We'll talk about that one in just a minute. How about this one? 8 o'clock. Of course, this is a huge matchup right here. Undefeated Pittsburgh, number 18 in the nation, against number 20 SMU with only one loss. So look at this spread right here. SMU more than a touchdown favorite against Pittsburgh. They just do not value Pitt at all. Not whatsoever. They do not value them at all. Syracuse was favored last week, and now here's SMU being favored by more than a touchdown. So this is a really tough game for me to call. Eli Holstein has looked really, really good, throughout these past few weeks. And they had a really, really dominating performance last week against Syracuse. I think if they continue that momentum, they're going to win this game easily. SMU, though, it's hard to get a read on them because they didn't look all that good last week. There's really no telling how this is going to go for them. But I think Pitt holds on, goes on the road, continues their undefeated streak, and knocks off SMU. That's what I think. I think they've looked to me like the way better team just based off the eye test, and that alone, they've looked like a way better team to me. So, we'll see how it goes. I think they're going to be good enough to stop the run game that SMU has. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins too.
Yeah, all right. I guess to be different, I think I'm going to take SMU.
Good choice. That's a good time to be different. All right, then on to the next game. Then, well, there is really no next game. You'd think there'd be a bunch of 11 o'clock games like there always are, but no, not the case. I guess that's because Colorado ain't playing this week. So I guess we can just roll ahead into the main attraction here. Without further ado. So before we get started, first I got to play this.
Pick up your shovel and get back to the coal mines, baby. Go Big Orange.
Okay, so Tennessee and Kentucky. Obviously, Kentucky coming off that incredibly bad loss to Auburn at home, and Tennessee coming off a bye week, rested up, ready to prepare for another game at home. Tennessee favored by 16.5 in this game, and if you look at the matchup predictor, they're favored by 91%. So, sort of everything in the universe is favoring towards Tennessee. And probably the most alarming thing if you're Kentucky is that your quarterback, Brock Vandagriff, has less passing yards than Nico. He also has more interceptions and less touchdowns. Let that one sink in. As bad as Tennessee's passing game has been, Nico is still better than you in passing. Boy, that's bad. And didn't I hear a Kentucky man say earlier in the season, enjoy Joe Milton 2.0? Oh, boy.
Yeah, even though Joe Milton lit him up, too.
Yeah, everybody lighting up Kentucky. That's no surprise there. But, yeah, so, every sign in the universe is favoring towards Tennessee. And since I've kind of hogged up the spotlight with my predictions to start out, I'll go ahead and let somebody else take it. Julio, why don't you start first? Give us your take on who's going to win this game.
I personally don't really think it's close unless, like I went over early in the podcast, unless Kentucky, forces turnovers and does it early and does it in, on our side of the 50. I don't really think it's close. I think probably by at least 2 touchdowns, and I feel like that's kind of just being generous.
All right, well then there you
because we saw what Dylan Sampson did to him last year.
Right. Well, I do think Kentucky's defensive line is probably better than it was last year. I think they're going to control the run at least decently well throughout the first half, but then Tennessee just starts to pull away. So that's kind of I guess, sort of an analysis of what I've got. I'll go more in depth in my preview video on Thursday, but that's the basic premise. Lucas, what's your take?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing what you guys said. I think Tennessee's now starting to find their groove offensively. I think the passing game's been getting better. Offensive line has been playing a bit better as well. I think they'll be able to at least shut down that Kentucky defensive line at times, which will, of course, open the hole for Dylan Sampson to run all over him like he did last year. But yeah, I think of course our defense. I think we're gonna defense will obviously hold their own against Kentucky. This defense is one of the best in the country. Kentucky's offense is one of the worst in the SEC. Yeah, we should be able to handle Kentucky's offense. So yeah.
All right. Well then, that's it for us. But there is one more thing we have to do. Score predictions. So, Lucas, since you just finished, we're going to go back to you. Give us your score prediction on the game.
I'm going to say I really think our offense is starting to figure it out. Tennessee 45, Kentucky 3.
All right, Julio, to you. What you got?
I think I'll go 38-0.
All right.
I just don't see Kentucky scoring unless they force or turnover or get like or if they bust a big run.
All right.
Like unless one of those, unless Brock Vandergriff or, Gavin Wimsatt suddenly turn into what Spencer Rattler did. Against us in 2022, I don't really foresee it.
Right.
Because they haven't shown that.
Well,
and plus, I think we have a lot better secondary than we did back then. So.
Right. Well, I'm convinced Tennessee is going to take care of business here. By how much is the question. So I'm kind of going to agree with you guys here. It's going to be really, really tough for Kentucky to score on this Tennessee defense. It took everything Bama and Florida had to do it. And it's like I've been saying all season long, and I'll continue to say it all the way up until the season's over. Tennessee will be at their best at the end of the season and not the beginning. I think we've all can agree on that. And now that we're towards the latter half of the season, this is probably one of the best games that we're going to see from Tennessee. And with a bye week to figure it out, I'm convinced Tennessee is going to continue that offensive momentum, and the defense does what the defense has always done and shut down Kentucky completely. So I'm going to take Tennessee to win with the final score 40-6. That's my final score prediction. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they can score points. Julio thinks the shutout's coming. Lucas thinks they'll score 3. I think they'll score 6. Maybe they score twice more than that. Maybe they score 50, 100 points. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not convinced that happens.
Man, if we shut out Kentucky, when was the last time Tennessee shut out Kentucky?
Probably in the 90s.
A long
I
time
think we
ago.
beat them like 50. Yeah, but I think we beat them like 52-0 or something one time. I think in the 90s. I think in the 90s there we beat them like 4 straight years by shutout or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the dark mode. Yeah, that was a good look.
No, I was talking like I think.
No,
it was
I was responding to a comment.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is Kentucky. I know Kentucky fans are like, well, we beat you in Neyland Stadium in 2020. Oh, okay, buddy. Okay.
Oh yeah, here we go. The last time we shut out Kentucky was back in 2002 when we beat them 24-0.
All right, well, good to hear. Let's see. Vols' best chances to win out. A loss to UGA won't knock us out, but playoffs for Vols that would be on life support. I think we're better off. I think we're going to be fine. If we lose to Georgia, I still think we're fine. I really don't see a scenario if we're 10-2 and we're left out of the playoffs unless every other team starts winning a bunch of games too.
Well, the only way I see us getting left out if we're 10-2 and lose to Georgia is if Georgia just beats the shit out of us.
Yeah.
I say Georgia beats us,
And I don't
like
think that's happening.
40.
The score's
I
not
mean,
going to show.
we might lose. We might lose to Georgia, but I don't think they're blowing us out.
Well,
With this defense, they're not blowing us
yeah,
out.
that's not happening. The defense is going to keep us in this game, and it's not like Tennessee is going to have a bunch of turnovers either. So, yeah. But I know a bunch of people this week are crying about the uniform combination already. Tennessee's wearing the dark mode uniforms, gimmick uniforms. Duh! Yeah, I get it, buddy.
They don't, bro. We only wear the
don't like
dark
fun
modes.
around here. No fun allowed.
Yeah, we only wear the dark modes against like lesser rivals. So yeah, that's what we think of you, Kentucky, a lesser rival.
We always wear them around Halloween, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So we always usually wear them because here's the thing: it changes like each year. We either play Kentucky or South Carolina in October because they alternate. So of course, home and away. So we'll play South Carolina one year at home in October, and then the other year, next year, we'll play Kentucky in October.
Yeah, we usually wear. We usually started to wear the dark mode uniforms in the last Saturday Saturday game in October, but of course our last home Saturday game was of course against Alabama.
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna wear dark mode uniforms against Alabama.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is a lot of people always forget is that we did wear them one other time against Georgia, and what was it, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's the only other time I think we've worn black jerseys, but those weren't even the blackout jerseys because they had the white helmets.
Yeah.
Because that was also the same year we faced South Carolina that year in the black jerseys, and we scored 28 in the first quarter. I was actually at that game, though.
I will say, though, those white helmets that they had with the black jerseys, they actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I thought they looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Anthony Z. Anthony Z here's what's up, buddy.
I think those, what those helmets, whenever they had the black outline, it reminded me of the old school 90s uniforms we had, the white jerseys with the black outlines that we used to have.
Yeah, I don't remember.
With the big numbers. I don't know if you've seen the old 90s pictures. If you look at the old 90s Tennessee jerseys, we had the huge numbers and the black outline of the little bit of the number. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what Tennessee needs to bring back?
What?
The orange helmets.
I'm not.
I don't think. I just don't think we're gonna bring them back just because you know how the fans would react.
I don't even know if you're trying to get a reaction out of us, Lucas, but I'm not gonna react about that. I wanted them back too.
No, I want them back. Seriously, they're so cool.
I want them back too, but I'm just saying I just don't think they're probably gonna do it because of what happened last time.
Yeah, I remember that. Even I was when we was getting blown out, I made a tweet. I was like, burn those helmets.
Well, imagine this. Because we talked about wearing the orange uniforms in the Arkansas game. Imagine we went through with that, and then we lost to them. We'd be 0-2 with those helmets. There's no doubt by that point they'd never come back. So I'm glad we didn't go through with it there. But, yeah. No, I feel like eventually at some point we'll whip them back out. Just when, I don't know. It might be the could be the Vandy.
Maybe we need to just play them against a nobody and get some good juju in them.
Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. If it's going to be a road game, it's for all we know, we could bring them against Georgia. Who knows?
Yeah, I want there to be an all orange combo: orange helmet, orange jersey, orange pants, orange shoes.
Yeah, if we keep talking about this, the Georgia fans will pop up in here and tell us about how no fun is allowed ever again. So we might as well just go ahead and stop.
Oh, another good helmet idea that I've personally had was the Vols script jerseys that the Tennessee basketball team has, the cursive script jerseys.
Yeah.
I want them to take that scripted cursive Vols logo and put it on the helmet. I think that would be sick.
That would be
I think it'd be cool, but here's the thing. I don't think we would ever do that because Florida does that, and I can hear it now from Florida fan. Of course, Tennessee's trying to copy us, guys.
Wah.
Well, like,
Well, yeah, that's exact. That's a
I
great way
think
of
it would
putting
be cool, but I think we're probably just gonna stick with the power T on the helmet. Kind of like how Alabama and Penn State stick with the numbers on the helmet.
Well,
It's
Penn State
almost too
doesn't really.
iconic at that point.
Yeah, Penn State don't really wear numbers on their helmet. It's just plain white helmets.
Is it
Sometimes
just
they'll
the
have
white
numbers on
helmets?
it.
I was about to say, I thought they always had numbers at least on their helmet.
No, it's just
Maybe.
plain white helmet.
No,
Sometimes they'll have
I'm
numbers
sorry. They
on
don't
it.
have the numbers on the helmet anymore. I think they stopped doing that.
Yeah, sometimes they'll do it, but normally it's just plain white helmets.
Yeah.
And then jerseys with no names on the back of the jerseys because they don't want everybody to know the player's name like USC.
Uh-huh. Whatever the deal is, I'm sure we'll figure it out. Yeah. How will you eliminate Florida State? You'll find out. I think you'll be happy.
Yeah, Florida State can obviously still make the playoffs, guys.
Yeah, Florida State playoff team, sir. They might make the Tartarian playoffs if I bring that back.
Yeah, you bring that back, you need to make me a commentator.
Yeah, will do. Andrew the textbook. That is what A&M did last Saturday with those all black uniforms. Yeah, no, a lot of people do the black uniforms, but it's only a problem when Tennessee does it.
Yeah, I didn't really like A&M's black uniforms, to be honest with you.
It didn't look A&M like at all, but I
they look
about it.
They looked too black. Like everything was literally black. The SEC logo was black. The words A&M on the jersey were black.
Yeah,
like all of it was
if
black.
Tennessee plays Texas in the playoffs, I hope they have the retro UT on the helmets. Yeah, I hope if we play Texas in the SEC championship, we need to have helmets that say "Remember the Alamo" on it. Yeah. All right, then. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Like I said, I got to wrap this thing up before 9 o'clock so that way I can get started on the chaos. I got to voice that before the end of tonight. Otherwise, I won't be able to get it done on time. So, as always, I appreciate everybody for showing in on the stream tonight. We had a great time tonight, as always. No, it was a short one, but I'll make it up to y'all next week when we have the next episode of the Vol-Star Podcast. Lucas, are you coming over this Saturday?
Probably not.
Understood. All right, then. Well, yeah, we're planning on going live for the game if you change your mind. Alrighty, then. Well, whatever the deal is, we'll figure it out. All right, thank you guys again for watching. As always, you guys are great people. Love every single one of you, down to the bottom of my heart. And, of course, love my two great commentators as well. Appreciate both of you guys being on here for tonight. Special shout-out to my Patreon supporters. If you're on the Patreon, shout-out to you. I plan to add more perks for those of you. And for those of you wondering, because I know I've gotten this question a bunch of times, yes, even though it's not made, the bed is fixed. Now, we are getting a new bed. In fact, it'll be here tomorrow. So this room it'll look a little bit different than what it is now. This bed, it's like a full-on couch. So there's going to be a lot more space in here starting probably tomorrow. So we'll see how she goes. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everyone for coming in. Any finalizing words from our co-hosts here?
Go Vols. I think that's about everything.
All right. Well said. Lucas?
Go Vols, and I guess that's basically everything too, because Central Michigan sucks and the Titans suck.
Oh yeah, the Titans suck. Like they woof boy, they suck.
Yeah, they're probably gonna get the number 1 overall pick.
Probably. And you're gonna draft another Kentucky quarterback.
If we do, I'm going to lose my mind.
I want to throw it out of the equation. That's all I can say.
I want the Titans to either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Those are the top 2 QB prospects entering the draft.
You don't want Travis Hunter?
I mean, that would be enough. We don't really need a wide receiver or defensive back. We need a quarterback.
All right, well, that's enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys again for watching. As always, power to Tardare, but more importantly, for the sake of this stream, go Vols, baby. Beat the crap out of the Kentucky Wildcats. Woo!
blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, their stupid song, and their woo, woo, get their woo!